Well, the private sector supports the return of face-to-face classes to improve the quality of learning and help boost economic recovery. Philippines Business for Education's Chito Salazar joins us now for his views. Chito, thank you so much for joining us. So is it time for our learners to physically get back to schools? And does this make health, educational, and economic sense?
Yes, Rico, good evening. We do believe, as a matter of fact, PBID has been one of the groups that's been calling for a return to face-to-face classes. So we congratulate the DepEd for taking this step. However, we should look at the entire system and not just a 100% face-to-face class. I think we have to review all of the COVID protocols because one of these protocols, which requires a lower density student population in class, will definitely put a big strain on all of the resources of the public schools. So we should either review that number or in all of the other protocols in order to make this really feasible. The other way to go is that we should be willing to continue with some form of blended or limited face-to-face class system. But for sure, there must be some degree of face-to-face if we are to get our students back on track in these times.
And over the past 2 years, have we seen learning losses from our students as a result of studying at home?
Yes, there have been learning losses. The estimate has actually been a learning loss almost equivalent to the 2 years of not going to school, which therefore is a learning loss of about 1.8, I think is what we've seen. Even more telling is that the World Bank and UNICEF show that during these 2 years, 10-year-olds who could not read simple texts actually rose from 70% to 90%. 70% is bad enough when you think of grade 4 students, 10-year-olds, who cannot read basic texts, but that's gone up even more in these times.
These numbers are indeed very concerning, Chito. So are these learning losses translating eventually down the road into a skills gap, which will debilitate our economy?
For sure. We will have students who are learning challenged, will not be able to therefore become fully productive, and therefore will not be able to find the right jobs that can help improve their lives. As also our own businesses will also suffer by not being able to find the kind of employees that they need. As a matter of fact, the number one complaint of companies in hiring new workers is precisely the weak basic skills of communications, basic numeracy, basic math. It isn't so much the industrial skills or high-end skills, it's the basic skills that our students lack. And if they cannot find a proper job, then they'll forever be locked into this situation of low income and poverty.
And at this point, Chito, there have been some lawmakers and some quarters in society who are weighing in on the K-12 educational system. How should this be tackled? Should it be scrapped or improved?
Or it should definitely not be scrapped. It should be improved. What we should review is not just the 2 years or the senior high school or grades 11 and 12. We should review the entire basic education system from K to 12. And there are many things that need to be done to improve this. Definitely reducing the number of years will just make things worse.
And specifically tell us, how should this be improved?
Well, I think we have first of all, there has to be a curriculum review because we have an overcrowded curriculum. Our tendency is to try to put as much as we can to the detriment of some basic competencies in reading, math, numeracy, and communications. If I had the choice, I would just focus on the reading skills of our most junior students, which should be kinder to grade 3. Many of these kids come to school unable to read, and if you don't read properly, you're endangered the rest of your life. So I would try to reduce what we teach and focus on the basic competencies, especially at K to 3.
And the program now, Chito, has been under review for 2 years now. So how long should this improvement take place, and when should the reforms be implemented?
Well, in actuality, Rico, the full graduates of K-12 have not yet been produced. The K-12 curriculum really began in 2012. So that means 12 years. It means they won't even graduate to 2024. Plus, we've seen the 2-year pandemic years of loss. No? So I think closer to 2024 is the time we should review it. Now, if I can add a caveat, PBED is actually calling for the quick formation of the Education Commission, which was passed by law by Senate and Congress. We should be reviewing the entire education system and not just bits and pieces of it. The whole system really needs to be reviewed, and therefore could be part. The K-12 review that the lawmakers are calling could be part of this review of the entire system.
So is Education Secretary Sara Duterte on top of this, you believe?
I believe she is, and I think I mentioned as soon as she was appointed, one of the things we're pushing for is a system which delegates a lot of the management of the schools to the local governments. The unique circumstances of each local government should be taken into consideration as they execute and implement education. Now, she is equipped because she is a local government official. She has experience there and actually did a lot for education, for the education system in Davao. So hopefully this experience can then be shared and it can be implemented in a way that allows the unique circumstances of every local government to play as we execute education reform.
Chito, thank you so much for your insights. Philippine Business for Education's Chito Salazar.